Without consistency in your rehab, your progress can slow and even stall. And when that happens, you start questioning why you're putting all this effort and work out in the first place. And that's why stroke rehab games have been just taking off lately, because they make the repetitive movements your brain actually needs fun. You get more reps, better sessions, and here's the thing, your brain can't tell a difference. But here's the problem. When someone's progress stalls long enough, it's easy to think that you've reached your limit, that your recovery is now over. But most of the time, it's a lot simpler than that. Usually the brain just hasn't been giving strong enough reason to change. And in these 28 games I'm going to show you are going to fix that. I've worked with stroke survivors for almost 10 years now, and the ones I see that make the most progress aren't the ones with the most equipment or the new latest and greatest tech. They're the ones who show up every single day. And that's what this video is all about, giving you some ideas on how you can gamify your therapy to get more consistency in your rehab. So I put together 28 stroke rehab games organized across 3 different phases of recovery, because the right game depends on where you are right now. But first, I want to quickly walk you through the 3 phases of recovery so you can find the right games for where you are right now. Starting with phase 1, which is waking up. This is for those who have little to no movement, and our goal here with these games is just on waking up the nervous system. Phase 2 is getting unstuck, and here's where movement starts to return, but the arm may feel a little stiff and tight. And in phase 3 is refining movement. This is where movement needs just a little bit more fine tuning. And if you're not sure what stage of stroke recovery you're in, I have a 2-minute quiz in the description, which will help you identify your exact stage and give you your next step. Just takes 2 minutes, links in the description. So let's start with phase 1, the waking up phase. These games are designed for someone with little to no movement in their affected hand. The first game is arm sliding soccer. And what you need for this game is just a hand towel, a ball to hit, and then some place to score your goals, like a cardboard box or a laundry basket or something. So sit at a table with good back support and arm support, and then put your affected hand on the hand towel. Go ahead and hook your affected hand around the wrist with your unaffected hand, your strong arm, and you're gonna need to have somebody roll the ball towards you. And then using both arms, you're just gonna reach forward and hit the ball and try to make it into the goal. And then just kind of reset and see how many goals you can score. Now, I'm doing this on my own and kind of close here, but you may want to make it a little more difficult, go further back and have a caregiver kind of help you with that. So the towel reduces friction so the arm glides a little easier. Every rep is getting assisted active movement through the affected arm, building that brain to arm connection 1 rep at a time. Game 2 is what's in the bag. All you need for this is a plastic bag, paper bag, and some everyday household objects. And it probably works best if you have somebody to help you with this. But essentially what you're gonna do is you're gonna get all your items and you're gonna put all the items in the bag. So once your affected hand and the objects are in the bag, ideally you're gonna have somebody else grab an object and rub it on your hand. And then you're gonna try and guess what the object is before they pull it out. And this is sensory retraining. And after a stroke, the brain often loses its ability to accurately process sensation from the affected hand. In this game, rebuilds that map 1 object at a time. And the last game I have for phase 1 is balloon tapping. And all you need for this is just a nice balloon and a sturdy surface to sit on like a couch. So with this exercise, you're gonna sit upright with your back supported and your affected arm supported at the side of your body, ideally with a 90-degree bend in the elbow, making sure the shoulder is supported with some pillows. So the goal of this game is to tap the balloon back and forth as many times as you can, keeping it in the air before it hits the ground. And this works even better when you play it with little kids or grandkids. But here's actually what's happening underneath this game. Every time you reach forward and touch that balloon, you're using your core to shift and balance. Your weight bearing through your affected arm into the surface of the pillows and couch. And that's meaningful input to the nervous system. And you're getting it without even thinking about it. But one important note on this one is just be aware of your sitting balance before you start. Because if there's any risk of you falling forward when reaching, maybe just try to recline back slightly, use a safety belt, or maybe even a spotter on this one. And now we're gonna get into phase 2 games, which is getting unstuck. And the goals here is just on repetition, reaching, grasping, and releasing as many times as possible to build those new neural pathways. And the struggle is just gonna be part of the process with this phase, so hang in there. And because we have some movement, the possibilities for games opens up quite a bit. So I've got these grouped into 3 categories of games, and starting with the first category of tabletop and card games. These are going to be your go-to games for this phase because they naturally build hundreds of repetitions without feeling like exercise. Any game that requires picking up objects, placing a piece down, holding onto cards, flipping cards is doing exactly what this phase needs. But one thing to keep in mind is that hand function varies quite a bit with this phase. So if your grasp is very limited right now, maybe just try and work on some more reaching games first. For these games, only use the strong side to assist if needed. If there's enough hand function to grab and pick and place pieces independently with your affected side, we want to challenge that as much as possible. And remember, the goal isn't on perfect performance, it's on repetitions. Category 2 is tech games. Don't overlook technology as a rehab tool. Motion-based gaming systems like the Nintendo Switch or the Wii Sports are genuinely very effective here. You get reaching, swinging, pressing buttons, all of that counts towards therapeutic repetition. Wii Sports bowling and tennis are particularly good. You get natural arm movements, they're easy to understand, and most stroke survivors find them genuinely fun. You work on beating previous scores or have a little more competition by playing a family or friend. Tablet games also can work here too. Any game that requires tapping or swiping, pressing targets is getting meaningful repetitions into the hand or an arm. The third category is assisted standing games. If your standing balance allows, get up on your feet. Standing changes everything. It activates the core, it challenges the balance, and does some natural weight shifting through the affected side in a way that sitting just can't replicate. Things like beanbag toss, cornhole, ring toss, all work great here. They work on reach, grasp, and release patterns, same as the tabletop games, but now gravity and standing balance are adding a whole new layer of challenge. But remember, safety is everything. Use a gait belt and a spotter if needed. And finally, we're going to be moving on to phase 3, which is refining movement. The goals here is on fine-tuning and pushing that emerging control towards everyday life. So I've got 3 categories of games here as well, and the first category being fine motor tabletop games. At this phase, the hand can do more, but it needs to be challenged with smaller targets, more precise placement, and tasks that require real finger isolation. Jenga, for example, is perfect. It has isolated finger control and precision, and bilateral coordination all in one game. Building with Legos works on pinch grasp and fine motor repetition naturally through creative play. Suspend challenges force grading and precision placement in a way few other games can. Games like Kerplunk and Pickup Sticks also work great because they do have a lot of fine motor coordination and isolation as well. Category 2 is drawing and writing games. Functional hand use at this phase starts to include tools, and drawing and writing games are a great way to practice that tool grasp in a low pressure context. Pictionary gets reps into practicing grasping writing utensils, while the creativity and competitive element keeps it engaging. Hangman is a simple, requires minimal setup, and naturally builds fine motor control through repetitive writing movements. Even maze tracing challenges precision and motor control along a specific path, and you can even track your performance on that by timing how long it takes you to get through the maze without touching the wall. These games also have a cognitive component, which makes them dual task opportunities, challenging the brain and the hand at the same time. And finally, category 3 is on sporty games. At this phase, stroke survivors are ready for more dynamic movement challenges. These games feel less like rehab and more like recreation. And that mind shift does something powerful for motivation and consistency. Pickleball is one of the best options here. The racket handle requires a functional grasp, the swing challenges wrist control and coordination, and the game is just enormously popular right now. And you can even modify pickleball with just a simple balloon and a pickleball racket. Just practice hitting the balloon back and forth in your living room. That still counts. Some other games would be bocce ball. It works on the underhand roll, grip and release, and accuracy in a social outdoor setting. Miniature golf challenges bilateral coordination, wrist control, and grip in a fun, low-pressure environment. Even Velcro ball games build on the pinch and gross grasp, throwing accuracy, and you get some instant visual feedback when the ball sticks. And for the lower extremity involvement, even just kicking a soccer ball while seated or standing gets the whole body involved in recovery. That's all 3 phases, 28 games, every stage of recovery covered. Here's what I want you to take away from this. It doesn't matter what stage of recovery you're in right now. What matters is that you show up consistently. And now you have 28 ways to make that easier. Because the best rehab is rehab that actually gets done. And these games will help it get done. So if you're not sure on which phase you're in, take my free 2-minute quiz in the description. You'll find out your stage of recovery and your next step completely free. I'll see you in the next one.